term,
Mm.
which professors do in college. That's all we knew.
Mm.
So I would actually say that my children were still too young the but yes, the family journey. My children were still too young. So again, I had that battle to fight that I want to further study and make my career in this. With a little resistance, finally I could again get enrolled. So I'm of a person who takes it one, I take baby steps. So I just thought, let me enroll. If I'm able to do great, if I'm not, let's take. So finally I convinced, at least let me enroll into it. But I knew, Malloy, the
Convinced
journey
whom?
would not.
Convinced whom?
My family here,
Your husband.
husband and family, yes,
Ah, ah,
because I think they were not at fault. It's just that because they realized that children were too young,
yeah,
and this is not the time when I will be able to distract so much of time and energy in different things. So that is the
right.
point from where they were coming from. But
Mm.
I thought, if I leave that time, I don't know when will I be able to pick it up back. So
Mm.
I would just enroll, but I knew the journey would be tough, because by that time it was not only my studies, it was children, of course, and I had also picked up a job in the school. And at our early stage of career, when we get married, I think we're all struggling in finances and settling down and all of that. So I had picked up a small job in the school, and I was teaching KG students, um, with 800 salaries. Just that because I wanted to get back to work, I picked up, I had to start from somewhere. So I started with the school, and I started teaching KG children. Gradually I got promoted, probably to ninth, 10th, 11th and 12th. All that happened in the school, but I started from that level. So yes, I knew 4 years is 4, 5, 6 years in PhD. It would not be an easy, because children and school job and my studies, it would be challenging. Interesting part, Malloy, here I want to share is, uh, so my PhD is on Girish Karnad. I was studying his plays. And during my school job, I had started teaching Shakespeare's plays and Wordsworth stories. My children were young, and in their bedtime stories, I had no other ideas on my mind, because it was all engrossed in so many things. So my bedtime stories used to be simplified version of this plays of Girish Karnad or Shakespeare's Julius Caesar or Wordsworth poems and stories. So that I used to simplify and share with my daughters when they were young, because I could not think of anything beyond that, probably. Now, and when they started growing up, they started reading abridged version of Shakespeare's plays, and they would say, Mama, we have heard these stories earlier. And then I told them, that yes, these were all simplified versions I used to tell you. So that's how, 4 or 5 years of PhD went by. Finally, with everybody's support, I could manage to do that. And an interesting part is, I was managing things only from home. My father was the one who was going to library, to the college, to get me the notes, to get me the books. For a long time, Malloy, the librarian in the university thought my father was doing PhD. It was only quite late he realized that no, it was not my father. I was doing it because my father used to visit university often.
Mm.
So what I think it was, without their support, I could not have done that. Whatever I wished,
Yeah.
I could not have done it. So I owe everything to them, for sure.
Amazing story that you're telling us. This can go on for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
you did
yes,
your PhD.
so PhD happened in four
Ah.
years. We could successfully complete that.
So who
But
got the degree? Who got the degree? You're your father.
finally I got it.
So it's the certificate still has your name. Are you
Yes.
sure? Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, Malloy, what happened was, in all these years, I stretched myself quite a lot, with
Mm.
small children in nuclear family, with studies, with job. And then ultimately I fell ill. For 4 or 5 years, I struggled with, because I had stretched myself
Mm.
quite a lot,
Mm.
I think.
Mm.
But then finally I took stock of my life. I brought myself back with pranayam and yoga, and changed my lifestyle.
Mm.
So I would rather say, in my early 40s, actually I started living my life. When people say life starts at 40, I literally feel by the time all this got over, my children almost grew up, my studies were done, life was a little more stable, it was 40. And life started actually at 40. It became all the more beautiful at 40. I started living it. On the professional front, after PhD, I
No, no,
got
no,
it.
no. Just hold on. Just hold on. Hold on. Hold
Yeah.
on. So you said you started living at the age, right, young age of 40,
Yes.
right? Would you have lived it differently if given a choice today?
Differently, which part of it? Before
Anything,
40?
anything that marriage, not marrying at till about 20, another 5, 6 years, or uh, not doing your PhD, or not getting into academics, and would you have done anything? The only
Yeah.
only reason I'm asking is you may feel probing too much,
No,
but
no,
is
no, it's
there
fine.
is there a regret somewhere that I have not lived for 40 years of my life?
Yes, Malloy, I think that is a dilemma I have every day, that I have my regrets. Some decisions which I took, I should not have taken. I could have done better. But on the contradictory note, I think it could have been worse actually. If today I think, I always feel I wanted, I wish I had studied in a better college, in a better university, but it could have been worse. I could not have even gone beyond MA first year. So the first thought is, yes, my education could have been better, but it could have actually been worse. In that scenario, Malloy, where choosing the college was not important, it was just that whether I will be able to study further or
Study
not.
further or
Choice
not?
of college was not a question,
Hmm.
right? So yes, one thought is, if I had started on a better note, because I always feel, I think if you kickstart better, the journey is better. And that is precisely one major point when I'm very, very concerned that my daughters, and in fact every parent would do that, I really want them to have good education, because that becomes a good starting point. You have a good starting point, your journey becomes faster, your journey becomes easier.
Hmm.
Probably the time I have taken to reach here could have been lessened if my journey had started on a better note. So yes,
Hmm.
this thought often comes to my mind. But then, as I say, the second thought is, it could have been worse. I could have just been there with my MA first year and not doing anything.
Hmm.
So at least I have been able to reach here. Again, that's why I'm saying, Valoy, my journey, what I have reached here may not be that great, but I still feel proud from where I had started and where I have reached. That I feel proud of.
No, I have a slightly different point of view, Shalini, and I'm sorry I am not on the same page as yours, right? And that is, you have a great journey till now. You've achieved significantly more than people who are who already have the resources but are not achieving that.
Mm-hmm.
There are people in Mumbai, Chennai, Calcutta, Delhi, wherever, who have the opportunity to do it, but they have not done it. So your journey has been fabulous. So please don't even ever think that you have not achieved a lot. Yes, there is a lot more to
Thank
achieve in
you.
life. There is a lot more. We have a
Absolutely.
long way to go, but I think you have achieved a lot, Shalini, and I've known you for a certain period of time. I know you have achieved a lot.
Thank you, Malloy.
My
That's been
my my
very
follow up no, my follow up question out here is: Do you think do you think the choice of the college or the institution, and you having seen both sides as a child, not having exposure to those universities and those large colleges, being born where you
nice.
did not have those available to you, and also being in academics, do you think the choice of college is such a big deal that what people make out to, that unless मुझे कॉलेज में वो कॉलेज में नहीं मिला मेरा करियर नहीं बनेगा? What's your take there?
Yeah. So, Malloy, I think yes, over a period, I think what matters is the journey or the experience that has gone into our learning, and not just the name of the college. To certain extent, yes, I would agree with you.
Hmm.
But having said that, I think today when we apply probably to IIMS or to
Mhm.
some international universities,
Yeah.
I think sometimes I may not get shortlisted just because my degree is not from that big or a well-known university. Even if that would not have a big impact today on my
Hmm.
learning, I think because I have learned on the job.
Hmm.
I did literature and then I got into a soft skills training, then I
Hmm.
became an academician. So the journey has been different, right?
Hmm.
But I think that tag of the college or the university, I think that goes a long way.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So what would you tell people then? what would you tell people? Not everyone can get into those categories of colleges. So at some point there could be a semblance of regret that मुझे वहां पे नहीं मिला. What would you tell them? What would be your advice to them? Because I know there are thousands of people who are fighting CAT to get into the IIMs, right? Millions of people. Only a handful get into it. What would be your advice to the others?
So again, brand, yes, I do feel it is important.
It is important, yes.
Absolutely. It is somewhere. I don't know. Probably I might not sound correct, but yes, this is what my experience has been. Because as I said, when I apply, at times I am not even shortlisted. Forget about based on my learning or experience. I don't even reach that stage of interview because my CV is not shortlisted because it is not from IIMs or IITs or an international university.
True.
Yes.
True.
So yes, and I think after 20, I'm in academics for 18 years now, and I think if I am given a chance, I probably would be an asset to an organization, but I don't reach that stage because I don't get shortlisted sometimes. So that is why I personally think, yes, the name of the university does matter.
Because not only the name, I think the quality of education that
absolutely it gets linked up. Actually,
it's at a different level altogether.
Yes, right? Yes,
okay.
For sure.
Then your professional journey started, and you have from what little I know, you have a fantastic professional journey as well.
Yeah, so Manoj, I come from a thought process that I don't know enough, and I think that makes me restless always. I feel I don't know enough and I need to learn from my seniors, from my peers, from my juniors, from my students. That thought process drives me throughout. And I started from ICFI University in Dehradun, and then after that I came to IMT Ghaziabad. We got transferred to NCR, and I joined IMT Ghaziabad. Had a wonderful stint at IMT Ghaziabad for 8 years. And then I came to SPGN School of Global Management. And now here, of course, as you know, I'm with NMIMS Global Access School. I will talk a little more about this professional journey and how it has.
Yes, please.
It's been a beautiful journey. I think to me. Sometimes it happens when the responsibility is given to people. I have seen someone who feels, wow, it's me. Probably I'm doing something very good, and that is why the job has been entrusted on me. So I have been very enthusiastic and a proactive person. Starting from my first job till date, I have been into leadership roles at different levels. At that time, probably it was a student committee or an examination coordinator, and then as an admission chair or accreditation committee or so different committees I got to experience just because I was a very enthusiastic person to contribute. My whole objective was I wanted to learn something new, and I'm a very restless person. So very eager. So if it is this time, this committee, I want to join another one because I want to learn that. So that has been the journey, and I think I've been blessed actually that I got wonderful mentors also in this journey. And I really want to talk about two of my mentors who have had a great influence on me. And you know, Manoj, who I'm going to talk about.
No, I don't know. I don't know. So you can.
Yes, I will definitely talk about it.
But,
so two people.
But very, I think it's a great thing that you're doing, that accepting that there are people who handhold us in our journey of life, whether it's life or profession. And at some point in time, we are duty bound to acknowledge the role that they play in our life.
Absolutely.
I think this is something which is absolutely fabulous, that what you're going to do, Shalini.
Thank
about
you.
The mentors. Yeah, please carry on.
So like in my personal life, if it is minus my parents, I'm nothing. And I think in the professional life, I think these two people have had a very severe influence on me, and that has touched me well. One is Dr. Atish Chattopadhyay, who was the director at IMT Ghaziabad. So Malloy, 2016, when I was given the task of admissions chairperson for all 4 campuses, I knew absolutely nothing about admissions. Dr. Atish trusted me more than I trusted myself. At times I would question, I don't think I know enough. How would I manage? And he would say, I know you would do it. And he would say at times, 2020, Shalini, I know you will be the best admission chair of the of the country. I said, that's quite
2012,
a 20, he
2012,
said. So we were in
2020,
2016 that time. And
2016 and 20, 4 years. Okay.
so like, so that was, of course, he was being very generous, and he said, I trust you, and I know you would do it very well. I did not know, of course, basics of admissions, but the only thing I knew was I would give my 200%. That I do, even if it's a small task or a bigger responsibility, I would give 200%. So that is one thing, was a shot. He really, guided me. He groomed me. He mentored me so well. Um, there was a time when I was scared that I might make some mistake because I'm too new to all of this. And he said, Shalini, whatever good things happen in this, credit goes to you. Anything goes wrong, I will take the responsibility. And Malloy, that statement I remember today. I love this thing. As a leader, if somebody tells you, I am here to own your mistakes, I think that gives so much confidence to us. And after that, there was no looking back. So that assignment which we were into, it went on for almost a year. And in between, there was a time for 3 to 4 months. I worked 13 to 14 hours on campus without even taking a break on a Sunday. And I think all that came because I owned that job. It felt like it was my baby. My family used to come to meet me in the campus because there was hardly any time I was spending at home. So what I'm saying is, I think because he entrusted me with that responsibility, he trusted me, he guided me. I think I gave all for it. And yes, there were some unusual outcomes also. There were great learning, of course, a great learning curve that happened. And I think that helped me, and that paved the way to my journey into SPGEM School of Global Management.
I just want to hold on to your thought at that. You mentioned very important two things which is related to professional career or professional
Yes.
growth for anybody of us. One is that leadership ability, where the leader says that I own all your mistakes.
Yes,
And
for sure.
and unfortunately, too few of our leaders actually do that. Right? So
Yeah.
at least if we, instead of blaming that why somebody else not doing it, if from tomorrow we can change, whoever is listening
True.
to this program here or on the recording on Facebook, who can do that, I think this world will be a much better place. That's one.
Absolutely.
Now the
Absolutely.
second was very important. You said you owned the job, and hence you did not even go to meet your family. The family used to come and see you.
Yeah.
Why? What do you attribute that to? Would you attribute that to the leader, or would you attribute that more to your passion and your that desire to succeed, that I have got this and I need to deliver? What would you attribute that to?
Malloy, I would say both actually. I was a person who had a lot of passion to do, and I had a leader who trusted me and gave me all the freedom to do it. I would go to him with an idea, and he would say, "Yes, go ahead." I think that excitement to do something new every day. Every day I would go to work, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted to add something different to the process. So I think it was both actually. If my leader had not supported me, however excited I was, I could not have done anything probably.
But how much do you attribute to yourself, your passion?
My passion and hard work, I would say 200%. And I'm not boasting about it, but I think this is the only thing I bring. Knowledge, I think I gain on the job.
On the job, correct.
But hard work, because I somehow feel, Malloy, one skill cannot make you survive for the whole life. The way the things change dynamically, I think every day we might have to learn something new and grow in that and evolve in that. Right. And that is what I have done. When it came admissions, I learned admissions. When I came to SPGEM School of Global Management, it was a different role. I learned it. Now I'm at NMIMS. Obviously, all these things I had never done earlier. But as long as I am open to learning, I think things are fine, I think. So
Yeah.
I think that is why I say I'm a learner forever. I didn't know all this, obviously. I have learned on the job. And I have been lucky to have some wonderful mentors around who have groomed me into it.
Yeah, very interesting, because a lot of people that I speak to in my coaching and the mentoring that we do, and the global coaches, we all say the same thing. What you're saying today, that if you bring the right attitude to the workplace, the technical bit you can learn. But if you bring
Absolutely.
only technical and no attitude, then you can't go anywhere in life. So that attitude
We
piece,
can't teach, yeah,
that
for
attitude
sure.
piece, and nobody
You
can
can't teach
teach that.
somebody an attitude.
And
You
nobody
can't
can teach
teach an
it.
attitude.
Yeah, you can teach technical, but you can't teach attitudes.
True, true.
So you have spent a lot of time with Professor Atish, and he's a known name, sir, and
Yes.
he's very well respected in the industry, that not only the teaching industry but on a wider industry, he's very well respected.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you left Delhi to come to
Yes.
Mumbai,
Yes.
when all your life you have been with the family. One fine day you decided to move to Mumbai with
Yeah.
SP Jain.
Yes. Yes. So two things I will like
What
to
was that
talk
decision?
about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So Malloy, since my daughters were born, I think the life has been completely around them, right? And I was very clear that till the time they don't complete their 12th, I am not moving out, because till that time I have to be with them. Once they go to college, probably I had more desires, I wanted to learn more. That desire to be in a full-time reputed college, it is still there. So I thought once my daughters go to college, I will pursue some other things. I probably might travel, I will study further. If I get a better opportunity in international school, I will go. So once my daughters got into college, four of us, me, my husband, my daughters, four of us, we thought, in fact, my daughters convinced me that, Mom, you have been into this for so many years. Now is the time. Go ahead, pursue your dreams, whatever you want to. And that was the time I started applying outside also. And SPGen Global happened. The good thing was it was an international business school. We all know global business school. It has campuses in Mumbai, Singapore, Sydney, and Dubai. So I
Yeah.
wanted to experience that global part of it, that international standards and practices of a business school, because I have been in Indian business schools for a long time. I knew the game. I wanted to experience how international business schools would function.
Mhm.
And since I would be in Mumbai, I thought I will be closer to my family and still be a part of international business school. So that was a thought process that with that I joined SPGen School of Global Management.
But
I would also like to, yeah,
not an easy decision, right?
it was a very tough decision.
To live.
We anticipated my husband would also get transferred, but like things go slow, it didn't work out easily. Okay, so it was for a long time. Me, my husband, we were shuttling between the two cities, Delhi and Mumbai. But a major concern here I want to talk about right now, Malloy, is if the husband goes to a different city for work, sounds so natural to the society. But here, when the wife was going, and that too when within the family, with my immediate family, we all were absolutely fine and we had a
Yeah.
consensus on this, right? But there was still a big question mark to outsiders, to the society, to at my workplace, you know the question mark was, but why would you do that? Why would you come to a different city when your family is there? Why would you do that?
The same thing that
Some
I
people,
asked you. The same thing that I asked you.
yeah, like you asked me.
Yeah.
In fact, in some of the interviews, people would ask, but why would you do that? Why don't you look for a job in Delhi only? Why don't you want to come to another city?
Hmm.
My question was, had a good opportunity come to you, wouldn't you have taken it up? Just because you are a man, you can do that. As a woman, don't I have a choice to follow my dreams and the career? And that too, as long as we as a family were fine.
Hmm.
So I had a problem with this whole thought process when people started questioning it. I was being questioned in interviews about all these things, and I wasn't very comfortable. Some
Sorry,
people
sorry,
thought probably we had
sorry,
turbulence.
sorry to interrupt. Even during the interviews, you were being asked this? The
Oh,
job
yes, very
interviews?
personal questions, very personal questions.
These are too
How
personal,
old is
right?
your husband? It's too personal. How old is your husband? When will he get retired? How will you manage, all these years you are here? And all those personal questions coming in.
Which
Uh,
typically wouldn't be asked of a man.
of course, they would not be asking them. A man can travel to any part of the country or
Or even
globe for
outside.
that matter.
Yeah, even
And
outside.
then society is fine that, yes, he's going out for work and the wife is taking care of the responsibilities. Why can't it happen when it is vice versa? It can happen, but why can't people accept
Accept it.
that? I think it is nobody's business actually to even talk about it. This is my point here,
Absolutely.
right? In fact, some of the people started questioning me that there must be some turbulence in your marriage and because of which you have taken this decision. I would just laugh it off. There's no need to justify or explain anyone for that matter. But here the moot point is that happens when a woman goes on a track which is unusual. There is a challenge every day. People pose questions every day. If I'm able to manage my personal and professional life well, then what is the issue? How am I managing? I think that every professional woman, we have our own ways. We prioritize, we delegate, we all, do those trade-offs. That is a different story altogether.
Correct.
But as long as within the family we are doing that, I think it is nobody's matter. So that was one part of it. Another thing, Malloy, when I went to SPGen School of Global Management, the journey has been great. And within, in fact, before my confirmation, I was promoted to Deputy Director for EMBA Mumbai program. And when I was interviewed for that role by Dr. Gary, who is the Dean of all 4 campuses for EMBA program, he asked me, Shalini, have you done this earlier, this role? I said, I have been an area chair for 9 years. I have been a part of different academic processes. But if I have head the program, no. But I'm very eager to learn from you how to do that. And he said, I'm excited to get you on board for this. And that was a 10-minute discussion, and we locked that. And with Dr. Gary, it was an amazing journey, Malloy. You also know him. He is an effective communicator, a fine and a rational leader, and a compassionate person. That was the time he knew I was staying alone in Mumbai. He would be concerned and ask, Shalini, are you doing well? Your family is there. He would make space so that I go to Delhi often, and he was very accommodating as my immediate boss. A great learning happened with Dr. Gary. In fact, last year, every Teachers' Day, I send a message or a note to my mentors. So I dropped him a message that thank you for being a mentor. It was great to have you, around me. He said, Shalini, when the student is ready, teacher will appear. You were eager to learn. I had to come and guide you. So it was a very nice thought that, in fact, when I was leaving SPGen School of Global Management, he has been such a matured and a professional. He made my exit smooth. He tried to stop me, but then he said, Shalini, since you're going for a bigger role, I would not stop you. Anywhere you get stuck, let me know. We have similar roles now, and anywhere you get stuck, I'm a phone call away. That was a big support that he gave. Even today, if I'm a little confused, what should I do? I would think what Dr. Gary would have done in this situation.
Correct.
So he has been a great mentor to me. I think my story has gone on and on for.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that it has gone on and on. The only thing that I look at my watch and I say, this story can go on for another couple of hours. Such is the content of this story.
Yeah.
Such is the depth of this story. Because the journey has been fabulous. And to think of it, Shalini, this same Shalini asking me yesterday, do you think I can talk for 1 hour? Right? Because the good part is we had a connect, and both of us met in SPGen when I used to go, or I still go as one of the visiting faculties, and that's where we connected. So you have had this journey, and which has been, to say the least, a very unlike Indian woman story. You grew up, you came to Delhi, you worked in the campus where the family used to come and see you. Then you came to Mumbai, and you did this. Your family was always there for you, which is known. So I'm not even going to ask you, was your family there or not there? Without that, it would not be possible. The family was all there. What next, Shalini? Oh, you have one more journey. Oh, you have one more. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yes, after SPGen, when I came to NM, yes, I again asked myself whether I'm ready for this role. The answer was, if I can head one program, NM, we have a pool, or we have a bouquet of 25 programs,
right?
And we have a visiting faculty body of almost 300, and the students of 50,000 active students we have.
Right.
So I thought, if I could manage one program, now it's just a matter of scale. If I understand academic processes, I can always, scale it up, and I will learn. So the game was different here because it was an online education. And I must actually give credit to our director, Mr. Rajiv Shah, the way he has actually envisioned the school and has taken the school to a greater heights in last 6 years. It is amazing. So I'm very impressed with the kind of technology and the processes the school has. Again, there's a lot to learn because online education is a different ball game altogether for me. Our team is great. So yes, I'm enjoying this journey. Having said that, I think another 2 years, Malloy, my first inning will be over with 2 decades over in academics. And then I have plans, for my second inning. I still feel the same as I have passed out from the school, and I have very exciting plans for my second inning. I want to do postdoc from, we have talked about it. I want to still do postdoc from an international university. I want to get into some entrepreneurial ventures because I have been wanting to do that, but never got that space or a chance to do that. Could never experiment because of certain responsibilities.
What about that old dream of fashion designing?
Oh,
The
that's
buying
gone, I
house.
think. That's
The buying
gone.
house. That's
That's
gone.
expired.
That's expired. Okay.
That's expired.
So
Now, being in academics, I want to do something in this only. I want to further grow I want to do postdoc, study more, and experience more in leadership positions. Learn more in this domain.
no,
So this is
I
what I
think
want to do in the second inning.
yeah, second innings. I'm sure there are some plans which are evolving and they're still under wraps because this is
Yes.
still
Yes.
sometimes entrepreneurial venture and what you want to do. Because it's a life, right? It's a life that we all
Yeah.
need to live through. And you remember when I told you that I gave up my professional career with a great
Yeah.
corporate at the age of 45, 46, and I jumped into entrepreneurship. And today,
Yes.
touch would we have 4 such ventures going simultaneously, and life has been good, lot to achieve more. Now let's look
Absolutely.
at this. Let's look at the slightly more serious aspect of life,
Yeah.
and that is, Shalini, there is this, and which I keep on sharing with you also when we were speaking in the past. Even today, in our Indian society, I'm not so sure about the metros and the large cities, but even in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, there is a difference in the way you look at a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah.
A lot of dreams are getting buried under something or the other, whether it's marriage or aspirations of the family, or just the wishes of the family of you should not do this. That should not is too big a phrase. Ye nahi karna hai, you should not do this.
Hmm.
And when I speak to women, the youth of today who have come to, even from suburbs of Mumbai, say Kalyan or Karjat or Kasara, it's not even
Hmm.
too far away from Mumbai. I see that the dreams are there, but the passions are not there. That kuch karna hai. I want to break that egg, the shell of the egg, and come out. Wo nahi ho raha hai. What would you tell such women? Because you have been through that journey. You're not giving us something of that gyan from the upar se. You've been through that journey. What would you tell all these young women who have the dreams, but kahin na kahin that they're getting buried?
Yeah. First things, advice to the girls, my humble advice to the girls. You are stronger than what you think you are. Just believe in yourselves. At times, you might have to just put your foot down. Do that. Sometimes we are little resistant that, yes, this might ruffle up feathers in the family. Somebody will get offended. But if you're not doing anything wrong, you have the right to education. You have the right to pursue your dreams. Fight it out if it requires. It is your right to do that. That is one. Don't Many working women, we feel guilty that we're not giving enough time to our family, right? We feel guilty about it. There would have been times when I had to travel job and I had to miss daughter's birthday or sometimes my anniversary. But yes, though we would make it up later or sooner, but yes, there would be such situations in such a long journey, right? Let's not feel guilty. I think job is, let's not take just job as a job. I think it's a part of our life. I somehow can't segregate my personal life and the professional life. It is a part of my life. So I think that let's not feel guilty about it. Let's prioritize, delegate whatever way we want to, but let's not feel guilty. I think we are doing enough by managing both the things well. We're guilty about it. Second thing, I think, which I feel, Malloy, I think this is a message to the girls. I will also come to the parents and the society. The message to the girls is marry when you wish, when you are ready to get married. Don't marry just because your parents want, your society wants, and they think that you're of a certain age. I think once you are ready, you are convinced, first make your first, I would say career is still a choice, whether you want to pursue or you want to be at home. I absolutely respect that. Education, non-negotiable. You have to study, you have to come to a level before you get married. I was lucky somehow I could pursue my studies. I am sure not everybody is as lucky, to get the support from the family. And ultimately their dreams somewhere get, suppressed at that level only. So this is a message to the girls. Just, I mean, if it requires some barriers to be broken, please do. Education is the must. This is for girls. My advice to the parents: please don't get your daughters married just because your family wants, your society wants. They have come to an age which you think it is suitable for them to marry. Please don't push them into marriage. Let them take their time. The age may be 20, it can be 30, it can be 40, it can be never. It has to be the girl's decision when they want to get married, to whom they want to get married. They have to take the call. It is a lifelong decision. Unless they are a party to it, I think they will not have a buy-in. They will not be able to live it. Let them take responsibility of it. I don't know if I'm making some
No,
sense
no, you're
here.
making absolute sense. And there is a follow on to this, Shalini,
Yeah.
which the word that you use, the guilt of a working mother. Most mothers go
Yeah.
through a guilt
Hmm.
that they are not able to give enough time to their child. The question out here is, how do you handle that guilt? And there is a lot of, because I'm leading it to something else.
Yeah.
There's a there is a large section of the population which handles guilt, especially the mothers, which handles guilt by making things easily available to their children, buying the
Hmm.
most expensive toys or the dresses or taking them out for
Hmm.
parties or whatever. How would you handle? How did you handle guilt? I'm sure you went through guilt yourself, which is a normal,
Well,
which is normal. So how did you handle that?
okay, so to be honest, I think I didn't feel that nice understanding. My husband was in government. He took a major lead in contributing to the family. He was there for most of the times. I think I was in private job. Me, he was there to take family. I would not say I never felt guilty about it, because I think we were doing that balance. I never felt guilty. I thought I was doing for my
Very
so
interesting. I think that's the best situation to be in, not to feel guilty.
I wasn't feeling guilty. And I think my daughters understood that. In fact, they enjoyed that space which they were getting when I wasn't around.
Oh wow, that so there's no. I'm sure they're very happy that mother is now
Oh
that you're
yes.
together. Now that all of you are together, but she's waiting for the lockdown to end. कि mother कब Calvin Bombay जाएगी?
True.
Yeah,
So, but I think, coming on a serious note, I
yeah.
don't think there is a guilt required. I think
Mm,
we are doing, I think, if we are working, I think undeliberately we are passing on a lot of learnings to our children when we are managing different things, which is
mm,
important, I think.
mm, mm. Because what is happening today in today's world is because of this guilt, and this is real experience that I have with families. Because of this guilt, the children are getting things on a platter. And when the youth who are growing up are getting things on a platter, when they grow up and they
Hmm.
have to face rejection in their workplace, they're not able to handle rejection. That is my
Yeah.
biggest worry about this generation of today. That we are not training them enough to fail. We are only
True.
telling them how to succeed. What's your views on this entire rejection story?
You're right, Malloy. I think this generation in last 1 decade, if we see the kind of growth that has happened, this generation has got everything on a platter,
Yeah.
right? So yes, now when I talk to my daughters, worried because both of them are in their final year, and they would worry that whether we'll get a job or not. I said that's fine, even if you get after 1 year. What is the worry about it? But yes, if they have concerns, if when we apply, if we get rejected, then what will happen? So they are in that right now. So you rightly pointed out. So my take on this, I think, is nothing is permanent. Nothing is going to stay forever. I think this is the time if we focus on upskilling, so that when the market comes up or improves, I think we are ready for the job. That's one thing I believe that is important to be done. So staying low. Second, I think, as I said, and I always feel from my journey, one skill will not take us through the whole life. So this generation, I think, has to be adaptable. I mean, they have to learn on the go. Sometimes I get a little worried when some of my students or this generation students, they would say, I will start only at this level. I have done MBA and I'm going to start only at this level. I'm not going to take up anything below that. So my suggestion, I believe, would be, I think it has to be very accommodating in the process. If right now, if a good company, good role, even if it is, I would say, even if it is unpaid or a lesser salary, I think right now we can focus on the learning and the best opportunity that we get. There's a long journey that is lying in front of us. This is just a matter of probably 6 months, 1 year, things will improve. So that hope things will improve, and in the process trying to improve ourselves to be ready for that market, somehow I think that would help.
Yeah, I think it's a very important point that you've addressed, because I have seen a lot of people, especially people who are coming out with from not the IIMs, but the second category of premium B schools. They are all
Yes.
very interested in how much money they are going to make from their first job, rather than what is the learning that they're going to get from their first job. And I tell people who come to me for mentoring, I tell them, chase good companies and good work. Money will
Yes,
follow.
money will follow.
Today you
Absolutely.
today you chase money. At some point in time, that tap will dry off. Today chase
Yeah.
good work. Money will follow you for the rest of your life.
Malo,
But
I just want to share here.
huh,
Yeah, sorry.
no, please carry on.
So, as you're aware, I have authored 9 books. One of the
We're
book
coming to
was
that.
on.
I know we are over time. We are past 6, but I'm not going to let you go without those books. Without those
No,
books,
so the point was
and I
to
know
highlight that.
and I know that there are some people who have been really impacted by you. So
Yes.
we'll talk about that. Yeah. Yes,
So
your
specifically to
authorship
one book
journey.
I wanted to mention. So authorship journey. Okay, so again, I owe this journey to IMT Ghaziabad, where the environment was competitive, wonderful faculty around, a wonderful learning environment. I think I got a lot of opportunities to travel abroad for conferences, teaching, and research, because the whole environment was that competitive. So 2010, my journey of authoring books started, and 2011 was my first book publication, and now it is 9. So I am happy that in this last
Sorry,
9
did you say
years, 9
9?
books
Sorry, did you say 9?
books Yeah, it's 9 books now. The
Wow.
ninth one just released. Yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't like I planned like one book per year. I didn't plan that, because every book takes a lot of time. Some books have
Yeah.
taken 2.5 to 3 years. Some books might have taken less. So parallelly, I was working on more than one project. And then
Mm,
it becomes a kind of rolling ball that every year you start getting it. So it's just
mm,
that. And I think one thing I would like to share is I learned to play on my forte. So as you understand, as an academician, publication is an important aspect. So in my initial years of as an academician, I realized research, of course we understand research is important, but research papers per se I was not able to publish easily, because I did not have great command on quantitative analysis and the tools. Try to attend and learn through some workshops, but I felt somehow I was not going into the right journey. And then
mm.
I realized my interest lies more in case study writing and the books. So I thought of, why not leverage on my strengths rather than struggle with something which I'm not great. For that, probably I can collaborate with the right set of people, some research papers, but let me leverage on my strengths. And that's how I started writing books and case studies. So books have been in different domains of communication, management. So whatever I do, I think a book comes out of it. So I was involved in admission, and then the next year a book came on new age admission
New
strategy.
ways
So
of
that's
admission.
how. the journey goes on. Yeah.
So what
What I
next?
was telling that time.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
please
What
carry on.
next?
Yeah, no, please,
So
please
what you
carry
were
on.
asking that time for youngsters. So one of the book was on campus placements, and the
Campus,
whole
sorry,
idea
campus.
originated. One of the book is on campus placements,
Okay.
and this book was written when I was at IMT Ghaziabad.
Hmm.
And the whole idea originated while we were interviewing some of the students who were not placed even after the convocation. And while interacting with them, we realized some of them they looked so promising that we thought they would get placed on day zero.
Hmm.
But it was even after convocation, they were not placed. We went in deeper into it. We realized they had made some wrong choices or some communication faux pas, which led them into this situation. Probably some of them left a job of 12 lakh or 15 lakh just because they thought, no, I will start only at this level in this industry, in this sector. They were very specific about it. That didn't happen. They left the companies like Google and all. And by the time, the things went on and they were at a stage where they were not even getting the salary of 4.5 lakh. What I'm trying to make a point here is, yes, dream big, but I think whatever best opportunity comes up, it's good to start your journey from there. On the go, it's a long journey. We will get many more opportunities to jump on and hop around. But at least make a decent start somewhere rather than sticking to a particular stage that this is what I'm looking for. I'm nowhere saying that we should not be goal oriented or focused. Having said, have bigger goals in picture, but be adaptable in the journey.
So the dream big has to be there, but start taking action. Just don't dream.
Absolutely.
Just don't dream.
Without that, I think nothing would happen. Yeah.
Nothing would happen. No, there is, unless there's action taken, there's no results in life. You have to act. And I keep on telling this. We may have seen 20 webinars or 30 webinars over the last 8 weeks, but what is the action that
Absolutely.
you have taken? Where is the
Yes.
action? Because just by learning, it's not going to give you results. There's a step called action.
Action.
So Shalini, what next? We heard about your
What next?
about your entrepreneurial dreams and the postdoc.
Yeah.
But what next from goals of life, from purpose of life?
Goals of life, as I said, I'm a very restless person. I need to do something new every day. I have to start with a very strong ikigai, some new purpose that I have to be with when I wake up. Otherwise, I think life seems to be very dull to me. Even on a Sunday, first 2-3 hours, if I have done my writing and studies, I feel my day has been fulfilling. So yes, for a while, I will, in this current job, I will want to grow. I want to start with another now, and I want to talk about it, why that particular theme has been on my mind for very long. This theme again is not something which others have not written or attempted. This is about communication and leadership at workplace. This has been on my mind for very long. I think throughout our journey, we learn a lot by looking at our leaders, how they treat us, how we are probably managing with our. So there is so much that goes around. I think we all get stuck somewhere with office politics also. Over a period, we grow and we grow and we get emotionally stronger. So I really want to work on something around this, how to have a positive and impactful communication at workplace, and how should strong leaders, because as I said, I have been very strongly influenced by some of the great leaders which changed my life. I really want to write more about it.
And for many of us, we have been influenced only by managers and no leaders. And we only wish the world has many more leaders like the leaders that you have spoken about, a couple of the strong leaders, three strong leaders that you've spoken about today. That if such leaders are there, I think the flower is bound to bloom under such leadership.
Absolutely.
But the most beautiful flowers can sometimes get crushed under the most terrible managers.
Glamour 100% natural.
Yeah, just hold on. There is somebody who's coming. Yeah. So Shalini, as we come to a close, I think it's been a wonderful journey, and I'm sure we can keep on talking about this. And you and I will obviously keep on talking about this as we have done in the past. I just want you have seen, being in the industry that you are in, the academics, you must have seen a lot of young kids bloom into flowers and become very extremely successful in life.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, you would have also seen some people who have not fulfilled their possible potentials in life. And
Mhm.
like this COVID era, people are, especially the children, the youth, whose internship have not happened, whose foreign education or foreign travel has not happened. There's a certain amount of despondency amongst these people.
Yes.
What is that last message that you would leave for the future of tomorrow, future of India, or future of the world? Children who are who are studying today in the many B schools around in India and overseas. They're the future. What would you tell them about COVID, about goals you have said that please take, dream big, but start taking action? But especially related to the COVID, what would you tell them?
So, Malloy, there have been pandemics in the past, and we do come out of it. This is also a situation, yes, it is challenging, and I think I might be undermining if I say, you know, you can just ignore that and wait. So I don't want to undermine. I respect all the challenges people are facing, all the struggles that people are going through in different ways. So maybe this is just that time. I think we just need to be patient. Easier said than done, but I'm sure we all understand that all of us in some way or the other have got impacted. Yes,
Yes.
we are still blessed that we are able to sail through. There are many more. I understand and appreciate all the struggles that they are going through, and it is going to be there for a very, very long time. Having said that, nothing stays forever. So I am a person who believes, or who has a lot of positivity, and I think yes, this too will pass. Things will come better. Every difficult time brings a lot of new opportunities. Sundar Pichai, the message that I was, listening the other day,
Mm.
he says, be impatient, be restless, a lot of opportunities are coming up. So just hold on. Things are going to be better. So, and I think that hope will definitely help us sail through this. Things will not be like this forever. Just hold on for that.
Hold on to the, hold on, be restless, because I personally believe come September, October, the dates may vary by a few days plus minus, but come September, October, the India 2.0 that is going to come up will be a land full of opportunities. And it's only for us to wait for that time and to accept those opportunities. The, the thing that we can do today is to prepare. How am
Yes.
I going to be part of that opportunity rather than sitting behind and complaining that कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. बहुत कुछ हो
True.
सकता है. शालिनी कालिया का लाइफ अगर देखोगे आप तो बहुत कुछ हो सकता है. From where to where, if Shalini can come, and I'm sure there are thousands of people like you
Absolutely.
who have walked this journey, and I personally don't know them, but I know you, and it's such a pleasure knowing you, Shalini.
Same here, Malloy.
It's been an absolutely fabulous journey that you have shared with us. And today, a lot of people who watch this video subsequently when it's put up on the YouTube and Facebook, they should get inspired that here is a woman who just did not talk, who made it happen. And so if she can make it happen, why can't I make it happen? You're all the same end of the day. If Shalini can be successful, there is no reason why I can't be successful. Dr. Professor Shalini Kal, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure, Malloy. It was
And
very nice talking to you.
very nice talking to you, Shalini. And a huge thank you to everyone who's been on the Zoom call. Thank you so much for being with us. And I hope that 11 people, why 11? I think there should be 110 now, or 111 people who will get energized by Shalini today by listening to her journey of life. Please don't look at Shalini and think this is the book. There's a lot to be read in that book. And each page of that book is a story of inspiration. Shalini, thank you so much once again. You take care of
Thank you so
yourself.
much, Malloy, for
May all
inviting me.
may
Stay
all
safe.
your dreams and aspirations of that entrepreneurial journey get fulfilled. I know there's still some challenges in life that you are overcoming currently, but hope to see you soon in Mumbai. And when you are in Mumbai, we'll certainly catch up. And
Oh, I am in Mumbai. My whole family is locked down in Mumbai.
whole family is locked down in Mumbai. Oh, fantastic!
Yes.
So they are enjoying Mumbai. Oh, I thought
Oh,
you had
absolutely.
traveled to Delhi. No,
No, we all are in Mumbai.
fantastic. The entire family enjoy Mumbai as much as you can within the four walls of the room
Yeah.
of the apartment that you're living. Have a great time.
So this is the Malay. This is the
Yeah.
silver lining. We haven't spent time together for long because children were in college. I was there. The silver lining is we all are together now, and we are getting some quality time spending together.
I think in every situation we can find that silver lining if we want to. If we want to, we can find a silver lining in every situation. For you, it's a silver lining. You may have spent time with them in Delhi, but I don't think you have spent
Yeah.
enough time at all in Mumbai. And look
In
how
Mumbai.
you have been all put into an apartment and said, now go and enjoy time together in Mumbai.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much once again, Shalini. Pleasure
Pleasure.
having you. Eternally indebted to you for agreeing to be part of this show.
It is all
And
mine, Malay.
it is all yours. It's all the pearls. It is all the pearls who are going to motivate the world. Thank you so much. God bless. Take care of yourself. Thank you.
You too. Thank you so much.